Do not judge so that you will not be judged. And that's where they stop. They say, see? Bible says don't judge. It also says this. For in the way you judge, you will be judged. Oh. And by your standard of measure, it will be measured to you. So this doesn't tell you not to judge. Very accurately, this is telling you how to judge people. Ooh, how? It doesn't say don't judge. Matter of fact, it very clearly goes on to say, not only should you judge, but here's how you are going to judge. So let me explain this just a little bit to you before we get on too far. My brother and I, when we were a bit younger, and I guess we've known each other now since about 2001 or 2, somewhere in that neighborhood. So Ken and I actually haven't known each other for terribly long, although I'm finding out very quickly that 2001 and 2 was a pretty long time ago. It was like 4 years ago, and then people are like, no, it's like 20 years ago, you dummy. And I'm like, oh, well, that's pretty close to true, actually. So the fact of the matter is, we've not known each other terribly long, but we've known each other long enough to know how to get on each other's nerves. And one of the things that we used to do is go around and, in some ways, we would judge each other. And I don't mean like you're wearing the wrong kind of work boot today, because we used to work together, and I'm not that kind of judge. More so like picking on each other on our semantics and how we word things. Well, you said this. Did you mean this or did you mean this? Well, I don't know. I have to think about it. And then he would say something like, see, you did the same thing I did, except for now you're wrong and I'm right, blah, blah, blah. And we would just go back and forth and we'd banter on, and we still do it a little bit, but not too bad. But what this says is, basically, for the amount that I am judging you, and in the way that I am judging you, I will be judged according to that. And I think that's only fair. Yes? No? Maybe? It seems to me to be fair. Because if I want to be judged on my own character and my own merit, should I not judge others in the same way? I was talking to somebody recently that a lot of people don't really like, and I'll not mention this person's name, but this person does get a fair amount of negative criticism in the community. And it's not because they're not good at what they do, it's because they're too good at what they do. And that person is in the public spotlight quite often. And we happened to be in a vehicle together the other day, and I looked at this person and I said, look, I really want you to understand something about me. And they're like, okay, what's that? I said, I don't listen to anybody's opinion about anything, at first at least. When it comes to people's character, personalities, and how they are. He's like, what do you mean? I said, I don't care what people say about you. I will judge you for you based on my own observations. Now, if I see you doing something stupid, then I'm going to tell you you're doing something stupid. But if somebody else sees you do something stupid and they say, did you see that stupid thing that person did? I'm not going to listen very intently because they may be telling me their perspective on what happened, and that's not actually what happened. Let me give you another example. I got myself in trouble recently at my other job, not the construction one, but the one with the wigwags and woo-woos. Fire department. Yeah, wigwags and woo-woos. Wigwags and woo-woos. And they accused me of saying something that I did not say. He said, well, how do you know that you didn't say that? Well, because I am pretty certain I know what I say and how I say things, and what you just said is not something that would ever come out of my mouth. Now, since then, that has blown over and it's not that big a deal anymore. The fact of the matter is, though, is people automatically jump to a conclusion. It got spread around the entire fire department that I said this, and I didn't say it. I didn't even imply it. But yet, the rumor mill goes, and of a sudden, Brian's a jerk, which is true a lot of times. Brian's a jerk, and he says all these bad things about people. No, not really. That's not really how I roll. Judge not so that you will not be judged, for the way that you judge, you will be judged, and by your standard of measure, it will be measured to you. Now, here's what the crux of this gets into. It says, why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log in your own eye? Now, I want you to have a visual moment for a second and think about this. What's he talking about? How many of you ever had a speck in your eye before? Is it not like the most annoying thing in the world? You're sitting there digging in your eye and like making it do stupid things and shooting water in it and whatever you got to do to get that speck out of your eye. It's super annoying. Now, put that in perspective for you. Imagine a log. How many of you ever seen a log? A lot. Now imagine having a log in your eye. It's going to take more than some water to get that baby out. Right? But I think the idea behind this passage is saying, why are you nitpicking about the little thing in somebody else's life when you have this semi-truck of garbage that you're pulling along? Well, what does that mean, Pastor? It means this. Before you go off and you start running your lips about somebody else, maybe you ought to look in your rearview mirror and see what you're pulling along with you. Before you go around telling people how bad they are for what they do, maybe you should examine your own life. Before you fly off the handle about something, maybe you should listen to what they have to say. Ooh, that one hurts. It gets worse. Or how can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, and behold the log that is in your own eye? Here's where it gets really fun. You hypocrite! First, take the log out of your own eye so you can see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. Hold the phone! First you're going to tell me I got to judge people a certain way. Now you're saying that I got to clean up my own garbage before I start picking on someone else's garbage? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Am I perfect? No. Do I pretend that I'm perfect? Depends on who you ask. No, I don't think I do. At least I try not to. But I do know this. If you come to me for advice and you ask me a question about how to improve your life or do something different in your life, I assure you I will do my best to give you the most honest answer I can. And you can also know that I try to look at my own life and what's going on in my life before I do. Why? Because if I have a problem that's going to inhibit me from being able to give you the best answer that I could possibly give you, I need to deal with that problem before I tell you what you're doing is wrong. Actually, I don't even tell people very often that what they're doing is wrong. I usually say something along the lines, well, that's one way to do it, but there might be a better way. Which is Brian speak for, you're wrong. Folks, I'm not coming at you as some kind of crazy, high and mighty preacher on a pedestal, even though I am elevated right now. I'm coming at you as a fellow Christian and a fellow person that still struggles with stuff too. There's times that I fail. There's times that I do things that are just downright not okay. I know, it's hard to believe, but it's the truth. I come down on people sometimes way harder than I should. As a matter of fact, it happened not too long ago. I came down on somebody pretty hard. But know this. I will only judge you advice that I give you will be as unbiased as it possibly can be. Some of you are probably saying, nah, because you're coming from the Christian perspective. Well, I believe that is the perspective you should come from. Because if I come from the world's perspective, I assure you what I would do and say would be drastically different. So judge not, lest you be judged? No, I don't think so. I think more so, don't judge people unless you're willing to be judged yourself. Which I think is a much, 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 much better way to look at it. So next time you're in school, or next time you're in college, or next time you're at work, and somebody says, the Bible says don't judge people. You can very clearly and easily tell them, no, it doesn't say that at all. It actually says something quite different. And what I'm seeing, your words and your walk don't line up together. Oh, now he's going to get serious. Is it possible then that one of the reasons why people tell us not to judge, and one of the reasons why people call us a hypocrite, is because of exactly what I just said? Our walk and our words aren't lining up together. What you say and what you do are two different things. I think one of the things that this passage is underlying, doesn't say outright, but I think it's there, is that if you're going to say something, or if you're going to proclaim something, especially when it comes to the Bible, especially when it comes to your Christianity and your walk with Christ, I strongly recommend that those two things line up together. Because if they don't, then guess what? We're going to be falling under the hypocrisy of inconsistency. We're going to close with a song of invitation. Just a quick moment of reflection. I'm going to finish with the last part of that verse, that passage. It says, do not give what is holy to dogs, and do not throw your pearls before the swine, for they will trample them under their feet, and turn and tear you to pieces. I always thought that was an interesting passage. What do you mean? What's throw your pearls to swine? Don't take what is valuable and toss it to people that won't appreciate it. Let your walk and let your words be as consistent as Jesus wants them to